Deep in the untouched wilderness of New Zealand, hidden beneath thick layers of earth and time, lies a massive stone formation so mysterious that it could rewrite everything we know about the ancient world. For decades, it was dismissed as a natural hill. But new research suggests it might not be natural at all. Could this be the lost evidence of a pre-Māori civilization, one that history has completely forgotten? Archaeologists are divided, geologists are skeptical, and yet, the evidence keeps building. Welcome to the mystery of the Kaimanawa Wall. The story begins in the early 1990s, when a group of researchers stumbled upon an unusual rock formation in the Kaimanawa Forest Park, in the central North Island of New Zealand. What caught their attention wasn't just the size of the structure, it was its precision. The massive stones were stacked in a way that appeared unnaturally uniform, with clean horizontal lines, right angles, and flat faces. To the untrained eye, it looked like an ancient wall. But to those with knowledge of geology, it sparked controversy. The Kaimanawa Wall, natural or man-made? The so-called Kaimanawa Wall consists of large ignimbrite blocks, volcanic stone, stacked in what appears to be an organized pattern. The stones measure several meters across and seem perfectly aligned. Proponents of the man-made theory claim that the stones are too symmetrical and precisely cut to be natural. They argue that the wear patterns suggest ancient erosion, possibly pointing to extreme age, far older than Maori history, possibly over 2,000 to 12,000 years old. But geologists from the New Zealand government quickly responded, stating that the formation is a natural example of jointing, a natural fracturing process in volcanic rock. So who's right? The ancient civilization theory, those who believe the Kaimanawa Wall is man-made, suggest it could be linked to an unknown, pre-Polynesian civilization, one that predates Maori settlement by thousands of years. Theories range from lost explorers who sailed across the Pacific before the Polynesians, survivors of sunken continents like Lemuria or Mu, or even a global ancient civilization with knowledge far beyond what we imagine. Supporters point to oral traditions among some Maori tribes, which speak of tall, light-skinned people who lived in New Zealand long before their arrival. Some connect this to the Waitaha people, believed by a few fringe theorists to be New Zealand's forgotten original inhabitants. Scientific roadblocks and lack of excavation. Despite interest from independent researchers, the New Zealand government has not allowed full archaeological excavation of the site. Officials maintain that the structure is a natural rock formation and not of archaeological interest. This has fueled speculation. Why not investigate further? What if the truth is being suppressed to protect established historical narratives? Skeptics argue there's nothing to hide, just rocks shaped by nature. But for those chasing answers, the lack of investigation only deepens the mystery. Could history be wrong? What if the Kaimanawa Wall really is man-made? It would suggest a highly organized civilization once lived in New Zealand, long before the Maori. That ancient humans may have had stone-working technology we didn't expect at such early dates. And that there are still major chapters of human history waiting to be discovered beneath our feet. It wouldn't be the first time history had to be rewritten. Think of Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, once believed impossible, now accepted as proof of advanced societies over 11,000 years ago. Satellite evidence and alignment theories. Recent enthusiasts have turned to satellite imaging and drone footage to examine the layout of the Kaimanawa Wall and its surroundings. What they found raises more questions than answers. Some claim the structure aligns with celestial events, like solstices or star paths, similar to ancient sites like Stonehenge or Machu Picchu. The orientation of the wall has been analyzed in relation to geomagnetic fields and ley lines, suggesting it might have served as a ceremonial, astronomical, or navigational marker. If true, this would indicate not only advanced construction, but an understanding of the skies and Earth's energy long before such knowledge was known to exist in the region. Skeptics argue this is coincidental pattern seeking. But patterns, as history has shown, often lead to breakthroughs. Oral traditions and forbidden histories. Long before Western archaeologists arrived, New Zealand's indigenous people, particularly the Maori, passed down oral traditions of a land inhabited before them. Some elders speak of the Patupairi, a race of fair-skinned, red-haired people who lived in the highlands and forests, emerging only at night. Others refer to the Waitaha, an ancient, peaceful people with advanced knowledge of navigation and stonework, whose history was said to be erased or hidden after conquest. These stories were often dismissed as myth. But what if they contain fragments of truth? Across the world, ancient oral traditions once dismissed as fantasy have proven to hold real historical value. Could New Zealand's legends point to a forgotten people and purpose for this structure? What if we're only scratching the surface? The Kaimanawa Wall might just be the beginning. New Zealand is largely unexplored archaeologically, especially in its dense interior forests and remote mountainous regions. Unlike Egypt or Mesopotamia, systematic ancient site exploration in New Zealand has been minimal. What else could be buried beneath the forest floor? Could there be entire settlements, ceremonial sites, or tombs awaiting discovery? If this wall is truly artificial, it implies the existence of tools, culture, and records, none of which have yet been found. Some researchers argue the site may even connect to a larger network of ancient Pacific cultures, from Easter Island to Micronesia to Indonesia, suggesting a far more connected ancient world than we've ever imagined. Could ancient tools have built it? One of the biggest questions skeptics ask is, if the Kaimanawa Wall is man-made, where are the tools? That's a fair question, but not a definitive dismissal. Across the globe, we've found ancient megalithic sites with no surviving tools. At sites like Puma Punku in Bolivia or Nan Madol in Micronesia, the precision of the stonework is undeniable, yet no tools have been conclusively linked to their construction. If the Kaimanawa Wall is artificial, it could suggest the use of stone or wooden tools that have long since decayed or eroded. A lost technique, perhaps similar to geopolymer stone molding or sound-based cutting, that we no longer understand. Or even the possibility that tools or related artifacts remain buried deeper beneath the structure, awaiting full excavation. Just because tools haven't been found doesn't mean human hands weren't involved. Sometimes, the tools are knowledge, and we may have forgotten it. What this means for human history if the Kaimanawa Wall is proven to be man-made, and older than currently accepted Maori arrival dates, it would completely challenge the current timeline of human migration in the Pacific. Mainstream history says, the Maori arrived around 1250 to 1300 CE. No prior civilization left any confirmed traces. New Zealand was isolated, with no advanced pre-colonial architecture. But if this structure predates that, it opens the door to massive implications, that human civilization reached New Zealand far earlier than believed. That early humans were far more capable of seafaring, architecture, and knowledge sharing than we give them credit for. And that our understanding of ancient history is still in its infancy. In short, the world may be far older, far more complex, and far more connected than we ever imagined. The Kaimanawa Wall stands in silence, ignored by some, dismissed by others, yet refusing to be forgotten. Whether it's a natural wonder or a lost chapter of human history, one thing is certain: there is more to this world than we've been told. So the question is, are we brave enough to keep digging? If you're fascinated by ancient mysteries, hidden knowledge, and the forgotten truths of our world, then you're in the right place. Like this video if it opened your eyes. Comment below. Do you think the Kaimanawa Wall is man-made or natural? Subscribe to Decoding History and Science, and join a growing community of truth seekers, explorers, and critical thinkers. Because history is never just in the past. It's waiting to be rediscovered. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay curious, and never stop asking questions.